Greetings, I'm Barrett, and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to continue our playthrough of Solomon Kane. We have been going through this storybook. I'm excited to continue this. In the last video, we were able to find out that this person that we saved, that traveler, wasn't all he cracked up to be. And now there's some wolf out there that is probably going to come back to us at some point. But when we left off, we were moving into the next scene. So we're going to go ahead and start by reading the intro part of that, looking at all the rules that go along with it, and then continuing our playthrough. And for this playthrough session, I've got a special guest. Colin from the One Stop Co-op Shop is going to be controlling two of our virtues for us. And we're going to be having a great time working together to try to complete this scene. So let's go ahead and take a look. Forging by Night. Of course, our story starts with the name again that I can't say. Yeah, I got a comment from Chile that actually was going to help me out on how to pronounce this, but even with his help, I'm sure I'm still going to brutally destroy this. Etienne turns to Kane, quite winded with the excitement of it all. Incredible! Undeniable proof of an actual werewolf here in our midst at Calais, he jabbers at Kane. The Puritan nods, turning to the old herbalist, who frantically roots through piles of books and scrolls. Indeed, but how do we kill it? Asked Kane. As you saw, the lycanthrope cannot bear the touch of silver, and weapons of the same will inflict wounds and cannot regenerate. Fire also the beast fears. But why talk of killing when we can effect a cure? This poor soul is afflicted with a disease. He is not our enemy. That may be so, but that makes him no less dangerous, Kane states emphatically. Be this as it may, monsieur, says the herbalist. I'm going to get around his name that way from now on, with some asperity. Here's the book. See, there's a remedy listed. He opens a dusty tome at a page marked with illustrations of a delicate plant with clusters of elongated bell-shaped flowers. Wolfsbane. Can it be made into a paste to coat your steel blades? When the agent mixes with the wolf's blood, it will drive out the beast spirit, freeing the man from its curse. Very well, says Kane. Do you have the ingredients? I do not, says the herbalist. But I know where to look, for the plant must be collected fresh by the light of the full moon, if it is to be efficacious. Come, we have but a few hours before dawn. So for this one, we have a few things going on. The first one is we're able to explore whenever we get to those tokens. If we get up to 5 on our Explorer, we get D1122. If we get 6 to 7, we get a random 116 through 119, and an 8+ gets us D119. Also, at this point, our herbalist becomes our companion. And these are the closest allies that Solomon Kane has. After resolving a fight, explore, talk, or move action, for Solomon Kane, a companion may also resolve the same action as a free action. So we'll see how this herbalist works. And his companion status is going to be using different numbers when we draw our event cards, as opposed to the hero one that Solomon Kane is doing. These additional tests and movements are entirely separate from Solomon Kane's and resolve any tests using the companion's values and only the modifiers that apply to them. In general, auras and shadows will not modify a companion's test, even if the same stat or shadow modified Solomon Kane's. Now, if Solomon Kane is never on the board in a particular scene, the virtues may play actions through these companions instead, as long as Solomon Kane is not on the board, but he will be on the board at the start. And the companions do not get the bonuses of actions mentioned above then if Solomon Kane is not present. So we're going to be seeing Solomon Kane on the board, so a lot of these that are going to happen for the companion is going to take place after we do actions as Solomon Kane. Of course, our objective is to concoct the cure for lycanthropy. The outcome is we get to go ahead and continue on to 8A once our objective is completed, and that's going to be revealed through the discovery. Of course, if anything else happens, we're going to be going to the other in 8B. For this chapter scene, we're going to have 10 darkness cards. It seems very similar from the other story we had to do. Then we also are going to be looking at discovery card 1120 and 1121. So let's go ahead and take a look at the discovery cards, and I'll get our 10 darkness cards all set up and ready to go. The first card, 1120, is the art of herbalism. Our herbalist has studied botany in Paris under the foremost scholars of the ages. So we're going to go ahead and see here that this is always going to be present. And it says, I gain +2 on explore tests if the herbalist is in the same area as Solomon Kane. So even though we can move separately and take on more of these places, we might want to stick together because he'll be getting +2. Also, whenever the herbalist takes an explore test, reveal a random card from 1, 16, 17, and 18 instead of resolving the test. So again, maybe I'm moving him around and doing his own test might be beneficial. We'll have to check it out. This does remain in play for the entire act, and I believe we're going to be gaining these different symbols, and we're going to be able to do some of these different powers based on the symbols that we're able to gain. I'm sure these are going to be all the different types of herbs that we're able to find. Our next card, 1121, is the Vial Rack, a wooden rack where our herbalist places his freshly crafted potions. Again, this is going to be there ready for us. And it says, during the turn, virtues may use tokens shown on D1120 to craft potions. Crafted potions must be placed on this card in a stock covering one of the empty vials, whilst obeying the components listed on 120, I should say. Here are the aforementioned empty vials. There are 6 of them. So what I believe we're going to be doing is we're going to be gathering these to go ahead and make vials of different things that are on this card. So let's see how it all works out. Let's check out our map. Here's the whole map set up like they told us from the book. A lot of what we're trying to do is up in this area. We have our spawns down here. There is 1 token in this area down here, but we have our Z token here, our X token here, and our Y token up here. Now we do get to start with Prudence on the board, or is that... Yes, it is Prudence. I always get Prudence and Temperance mixed up. This is Prudence. She's on the board and ready to go. We do start with a shadow right here, and we do have our house in the way. This is telling me, of course, that north is up there. And so we're going to go ahead and begin this. But let's go ahead and check out our virtues first to see how they're doing. The first virtue we're going to look at is courage. I'll be controlling courage. We have a few cards out ready to go, and I think I was supposed to draw one more before we went. Now notice we don't have any of our yellow tokens out on any of our characters. That's because when we completed our last story scene, she was the last one to go, and so I've gone ahead and collected them all, and we're going to go ahead and decide, Colin and myself, which order we should go ahead and do our turns in. Next we have Temperance. She's also ready to go. We need to remember she does the explore action, so this is going to be a very key character in this scene. Hopefully we can get some light out onto her so she can help us with our explore actions. Also, she gets the ability to move, especially it helps us if we're moving towards these tokens. And again, she's able to gain light because we have our perception card out, where if Solomon Kane is adjacent to one of these, she can actually gain more light. So she might not actually be doing the explore actions. She might actually be doing more of the moving action and allowing the rest of our virtues to take, able to work this action, because any virtue can do the middle action on any board. So maybe courage might be doing this as we're trying to move him around and get the light with her actual figure. And maybe getting around the board would be good too, because look, +2 explore isn't going to be bad. All right, let's go ahead and check out our board and also our cloud. Here's our cloud. It's all set to go. We have our blessings right here. We do have 3 mercy cubes, which we can use as a resource to place in an area where one of the dice would need to be. We also have our luck cubes here, which we can reroll event cards for the numbers. We have 1 luck cube left. Now, these are a finite resource, so we should start using these and bring them back out so we can gain them back, because right now I can't get any more unless I use them. Here's our track. Of course, we have our strength, clarity, and compassion, which is getting a little down there. And of course, remember, if it gets to 0, we lose the game. If our danger ever gets to 11, we also lose the game. But I think we've been doing pretty good on danger. It's at a 4, which means the most we're ever going to have on the board when it comes to shadows is 2, which is ideal. Let's keep it there, and 1 would be even more ideal, but I don't know if we're ever going to get it down to 1. But having at least only 2 coming out at a time, I think will really help us. Prudence is already out on the board, and she's able to take advantage of the +1 reroll or an extra flip as long as Solomon Kane's in the aura. Right now, he's not even close to where she is. So again, another thing we might want to worry about is maybe trying to get the ability to move her around by getting some light on the dashboard, because then you're able to move any virtue with just 1 faith symbol, which wouldn't be too bad. She's got her cards out, and she's ready to go. We have our last virtue, Justice. She's been instrumental in getting us to this point with all of the talk tests we've been doing, but now it moves over to our explore test. So Temperance is going to have to take command of the most powerful virtue, I believe. What we need to do is maybe get some light over there, and she's able to get light. Lots of light out there, of course. -1 compassion might not be the greatest way, but getting 2 light out somewhere would probably be pretty key. All right, she's all set to go. She's got a few things here. Remember, she's got one here that can get us 2 mercy, so maybe starting off by using the mercy cubes wouldn't be a bad idea. Now, Colin and I are going to go ahead and figure out who should go first. And if you're excited to see if Solomon Kane can make it through here and try to find some awesome herbs to cure lambskinwroughie, then I need you to meet me at the table. After talking over with Colin, we decided that we're going to go ahead and have Temperance take number 4, and I'm going to give Courage number 1. We're hoping that maybe Courage can move at least a little bit, and hopefully we can get some light onto this board so that when we start doing explore actions, we can actually get some good cards.
We're going to have Justice go second and Prudence to go third.
Come on, Justice, let's move our character around. All right, we got one of these, and we also have a Faith. So we are able to get that move action. And most likely what we're going to do is pass this die over to Temperance so she can do a whole bunch of cool things. So we're going to donate that one to Temperance and move Solomon Kane 1 space. Solomon Kane is going to go over here. Our plan is kind of to send Solomon up this way. Even though the shadow's here, it's not going to be hopefully the end of the world. And we're going to send our companion this way. Now remember, we do get +2 explore with our companion, but Colin and I are going to go out braving it on our own and see how it goes. Now our companion is able to do the exact same action we do when we are helping Solomon Kane. So he's also going to do move action. He's going to move over into this direction, going for that token there. At this point, we can choose to actually remove cards from our left and right hand, and I actually am going to do that. We're not doing any fighting right now, so we're going to go ahead and discard both of these. We're trying to move, and haste gives us a move of 2, but of course at losing 1 strength, I don't think that's a bad plan. Also, we can lose 1 strength to gain some light. Oh, that's going to be good too. We like light, we like strength, we like to flip this token to show that we're done. Now, of course, this really isn't the end of the turn. We still have to draw our darkness card and resolve any end of turn activities, and I really don't think there are any end of turn activities like they've been in the past. Since we have a companion now, he's just going to follow us around. We're going to go ahead, take our darkness card, and see what happens. Okay, we're not doing the story event, so we don't have to worry about this one. Right now, there's no anybody around him, but let's go ahead and check it out. It might talk about our companions: Sentries, Scout, and Hunter. So no, there isn't. Next, we have Scout, Scout, the westernmost Scout. The furthest shadow moves 2 to threaten Solomon Kane, and all hunters move 1 to fight. So let's go ahead and move our shadow. Our darkness card tells us that we're going to move 2 to threaten. Now Solomon Kane, of course, is right here, and he could move 2 to engage, but it said to threaten. So I'm actually just going to move him right here to be closer to Solomon Kane. I believe that's how it works. If it doesn't, please let me know. Of course, our card also says to spawn 1 down in X. So we're going to take another evil shadow and stick him right up here. They're going to be coming at us from all of the corners. There's ones in each corner, except, of course, this one down here. That's going to be the end of Courage. Let's move into Justice.
Let's move to Justice's turn. I'll give our dice a roll. That looks pretty dang good. And unfortunately, that roll was pretty terrible. We're looking for light, and that was not a light roll. Let's roll this up. Oh, that might work. With this roll, I think the only thing I can activate is my intuition here. I'm going to go ahead and use these 3 dice. I can use one of these blessing dice as a wild here, and that's going to allow me to place 1 light. And from what we understand from the rules, you can place a light onto any of the open sockets. So I'm going to go ahead and place 1 light onto Temperance's socket to make that explore right now would be 1 now instead of 0. And after discussing with Barrett, I think we're going to do a little brilliance. We're going to use 2 of our mercy cubes. So we did confirm in the rules you can use multiple mercy cubes, which can be any die symbol. And we're going to use those, although they cannot cover up any status costs. So we're still going to have to pay the 1 compassion, but this is going to allow us to place 2 more beautiful light onto Temperance's board, and now we filled up that Explore, so that Explore is an Explore 3 now. We'll drop our compassion down from 5 to 4. After doing this, let's go ahead and clear off those mercy cubes, and I have to replace that action card, and I think the one that I'm going to do is Enlightenment. We'll place that here, and then I get to draw a new card, and our new card will be Empathy. We'll end Justice's turn by drawing our Terrible Darkness card, and we, of course, ignore this top part. Here, because that blasted shadow is threatening us, we'll read the shadow moves 1 to engage. Yeah, he can definitely do that. You can see him here. He's going to move into Solomon Kane's spot. He's going to go away, and we're now going to have to draw an event card. So we'll go ahead and grab one of those, and let's see what we get. Oh, we have Disheartened. -1 to compassion unless the justice miniature is on the board. Of course, she's not on the board because it's prudence instead. And then +1 to danger. Unfortunately, our compassion is going to go to the negative now, -1, and danger we're up to 5. We could see 3 shadows on the board. Unfortunately, though, we're not done. We still have that shadow in the top left corner. We have down here, the furthest shadow moves 2 to threaten. We're ignoring the moves 2 to engage because he cannot engage. So we're just going to have him move 2 to threaten, and then we're going to spawn on Y. Our shadow over here will move 1, 2, and then we'll place that second shadow here. Okay, that's going to end Justice's turn. Let's move to Prudence. Let's see what Prudence can roll. We'll give these a roll. Ooh, this actually looks great, you guys. That's a great roll. What we can do is we can use both of these, because this is a wild, and we can place 1 light onto a Virtues dashboard. Well, let's do that for ours. Then what we'll do with our third one is we're going to anticipate, and we're going to move any one virtue X. So when X is equals to the amount of light that we have on Prudence's board, that's 1. So we're going to be able to move 1 space. Prudence can help Solomon Kane out by moving 1 space over here. This shadow will likely move into this space to try and get to Solomon Kane, and we can blow it up. Finally, let's go ahead and discard Reconciliation. The card's okay, but not great. Instead, we're going to put out Altruism. Choose a virtue and resolve any one of their available actions for free. Beautiful. That could let us use some of those moves that we need. And then we'll go ahead and draw a new card. And this one is a Move 1 card. That's awesome. Too bad we didn't have that out. Next, we'll go ahead and draw one of our Darkness cards. And what we have, none of the shadows are threatening, so we'll move right to the second step. And it states, the furthest shadow moves 2 to threaten. Our shadow will move 2 spaces, 1, 2, towards Solomon Kane. And that will end Prudence's turn. I'll flip her turn marker to denote that.
Temperance has to come in for the win. Come on, Temperance, let's do this up. I got a pain, a determination, and one of these. Oh, I think we got a great roll here. I'm going to go ahead and put this here, and this here. That's going to move Solomon Kane 1 or 2 spaces. Now, we still have 1 more Mercy Cube, and check this out. Once he moves, we're going to go ahead and do this Explore action. And guess what? Our companion gets to do it too. It's perfect, isn't it, Colin?
Heck yeah!
We're deciding to go for broke. We're going to go ahead and move Solomon Kane here, and we're also going to move him here as well. Our herbalist is going to help us out. Remember, when he is next to Solomon Kane and he takes a explore action, I get +2. So I get +2 for him being there. Plus, Colin, in all his wonderful justiceness, has given me 3 light as well. So we're going to go ahead, draw an event card, and see what we get. There are no shadows that are actually threatening Solomon Kane, so we can get a really high number here. 5 + 5 is 10. Oh my gosh, we reached for the stratosphere, and we grabbed it. Looking at our keywords and stats, when we explore, if we get 8+, we get to look at D119. Let's check it out. We have found wolfsbane, which is a word I can't pronounce. A magnificent plant bathed in the moonlight, adorned with long, dark, violent flowers. The perfect cure for beasts within. Okay, we get to go ahead and place all these tokens on here and discard that token. We can also choose to either proceed to Chapter 8A or remove this card and continue forging for dreams. You ready to move on to Chapter 8A?
Heck yeah.
Let's do it. We're going to be moving on, but we're going to go ahead and finish out our virtues turn here. I think moving into the next turn, I wonder if we want to keep these here or we want to put some of these down. I don't know if we're going to be exploring in the next one. Clarity, I think we're doing okay. I think what we're going to do is we're going to keep these where they are, but we're going to go ahead and flip our token, and that's going to be it. We're going to go ahead and remove all of these dice, and we're going to move into 8A and see what happens. Chapter 8A is another story, and it's called To Work.
Solomon Kane and the herbalist begin their search of the forest by the light of the full moon. The herbalist quickly gives the Puritan a rundown of what they seek, for in addition to the wolfsbane, he can craft other salves, tonics, and potions that will aid them in their battle to come. I am certain, monsieur, that the beast will return on the morrow seeking revenge, he tells Kane. We must be prepared, and if we do not collect the wolfsbane, then we must make our escape. Can we not simply kill the werewolf with silver or fire? Asks Kane. You may do so as you please, monsieur, but I will have no part of murder. You will not have my aid, and without it others may suffer. Very well, Kane sighs. We will do it your way. Or not at all. Or not at all, Kane concedes. The bargain is struck. Together they search until dawn, then return to the herbalist's cabin with a good haul of herbs, including the vital wolfsbane. They snatch a couple of hours' sleep before the herbalist sets to work, crafting what they'll need to face off the great wolf.
So in this one, we're going to be having some special rules. The first one is we are still going to be able to finish crafting potions from 1120. Of course, we only really have one potion to craft. But as we saw in the last one, our vial rack here does say during their turn, virtues may use tokens shown on 1120 to craft these potions. So we're going to be able to do that because 1120 shows all the different potions we can craft. But of course, the only one we actually have the components for is this one because we were super awesome and got it right off the bat. We just powered right into that thing. That was amazing. We can also place one light on Solomon's path for each potion we make. So there is other ways of putting light on the path. Sadly, we're only going to make one, so we're going to have to use our virtues in order to get that light on the board as well. Per usual during our story chapters, we are going to try to illuminate his path, and 2 will make it dark, and 3, 4, or 5, of course, will be a lit path. Once we complete our story chapter, if it is bright, we will go to 9A. Of course, darkness brings us 9B. And of course, because this is such a tough game, we only get 4 darkness to try to illuminate this path.
We're going to go ahead and choose our turn order for this round, and I'm going to have Prudence be first, and Justice is going to be fourth.
And of course, Courage and Temperance are left. We're going to give Temperance die number 2 and Courage die number 3. And I'm sure you noticed when I placed out those 2 cards, I forgot to shuffle these up and draw 2 new cards for Courage. So we're just going to do a quick truffle shuffle here and grab 2 new cards for Justice. She got Audacity, which removes shadows from play, which is Sweetness. And I've got Inspiration, which is going to be able to take 2 Bravery from the supply and place them into the reserve of a virtue of our choice. So those are the cards that she actually has. Not out here, but at least she could begin maybe putting into her hand.
Starting with Prudence, let's give our 3 dice a roll. Oh, that looks pretty good. The first thing we're going to have Prudence do is she is going to craft the Lysanthropy Cure. We're going to use the 3 ingredients that we found in our last encounter. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to give all these dice out. I'm going to go ahead and give Temperance this die, and I will give Courage this one, and the Faith one we'll go ahead and give to Justice. So we're just donating all of our dice. Since we crafted that potion, we get to place 1 light out on the board. But now, you know what's going to happen. Oh, and I'm choosing not to change my active cards. That's what I've decided to do. We're going to draw our Darkness card, and we have +1 danger.
Yuck.
That means we'll move from 5 to 6 danger.
Temperance is going to be our second virtue. Let's see what she's able to do to help out Solomon. She's able to get 2 pain and also a faith symbol, which is going to actually work for us. I'm going to go ahead and flip this to determination, and thanks to Prudence over there. Is it Prudence? Yeah, that's right. Prudence over there. I'm going to be able to put all this down right here to give myself 1 light. Now, of course, Solomon Kane isn't moving around the board, so I'm not adjacent to any of these tokens, but 1 light is better than nothing. So we're going to go ahead and put this on our book, call it a day. We're going to donate this over to Courage, which is going to be abso-smurfly perfect. You're going to see how that works in just a second. What we're also going to do is flip her token, discard this card. I have to be able to put a card out in front here now. I think we're going to put this Clarity card out. I don't think we're going to be exploring. Hopefully in the next one, if we are, then we can go ahead and put that out there. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these up a little bit, draw another card, and see what we get. We got Assurance. Wow, I wish I could have put that out. That's actually really cool. That's be the end of our turn. We're going to go ahead, draw our Darkness card, and see what happens. Oh, it's flying all over the place. Let's see what we get. Come on, something good. Well, none of this is going to be really good. What am I talking about? 1 virtue removes all dice from their reserve. Well, lucky for us, we don't have any virtues with dice in their reserve, so this actually was a fantastic Darkness card. Nothing happens to us. We are safe. We're going to move into our 3rd virtues turn, which is Justice, who's actually sitting pretty good right now. These dice are slightly on mute point, but that's a wow. She's pretty determined, I'll tell you that. She's the most determined Courage I've ever seen. We're going to go ahead and put our pain here, and we're also going to put our fear here. Thank goodness we got some donated dice because that was a terrible roll if we were trying to do anything. I'm going to go ahead and move our Courage, and we're going to gain 1 light onto our book. Our strength, which is courage is the virtue, is going to go ahead and move down to 6, not the end of the world. Now, of course, that means we do not get our +1 when actually doing our strength tests, if we ever have to do any. We're going to place our light right there. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and donate one of these over to Justice, and then these two I could put in my reserves. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and discard this card. I can put Inspiration or Audacity into play. I think we're going to put, oh, it's such a tough choice. I think we're going to put Audacity into play. Sadly, those aren't Bravery. It'd be really good if those are Bravery, because look at this, all this Bravery, and I can get all the shadows off the board. It'd be fantastic. We're going to flip her token and draw a Darkness card. Let's see what we get. Come on, be gentle, like you did last time. -1 clarity, I'm totally fine with that. We have 7 clarity, so we're just going to push that token down to 6 and move over to Justice's turn.
Let's end this chapter with Justice. We'll roll our dice up. Ooh, that looks good. This might actually work. So the first thing we're going to do is we can flip one die. We're going to flip this one like so. So we can place this one here and this one here. So that's going to allow us to place 1 light. And then since I used up all of the mercy dice the moment that I got into playing this game with Bears, sorry about that, I'm going to get him some back. What do you guys say? I'll use all 3 of these. That's going to gain us 2 of these mercy dice. We'll put them in the cloud. They've been uploaded to the server. After that awesome turn, we're up to 4 light on the track. That feels pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and discard both of these cards, which means that we can place out the 2 that are in our hand. We've got Sympathy and Empathy. And we'll draw our last 2. We have Aberration and we have Equilibrium. Ooh, I like that name. All right, now let's go ahead and draw our final Darkness card. And let's see what we have. We have, oh, just -1 strength.
Yuck.
We'll go ahead and push our strength down to 5. Now though, because we have 4 light on our track, we get to adjust one of these tracks by 2. What we're going to do is push our danger down by 2, because that means now the maximum amount of shadows that can be out on the board is only 2 instead of 3. Heck yeah, way to go, Bernd.
Woo! With our track being at 4, we have a lighted path, so our outcome is going to be bright. We're going to go to 9A. 9A again is a scene. We're going into Hunter's Bay. Are you ready, Colin?
I am ready. Bring it on.
This is going to be awesome. Being my guest here, I'm going to have you go ahead and read again.
The herbalist works feverishly throughout the day, chopping leaves, grinding roots, boiling pulp, decanting fluids, and scraping paste into clay pots. Solomon Kane assists as best as he can, but in truth, it is the specialist's work to which the Puritan is unsuited. For the most part, Kane lets the old herbalist get on with his work. As night draws in and the moon starts to rise, at last the herbalist steps back from his work. He hands Solomon Kane a pot containing a gritty green paste made from the whole of the wolfsbane's plant. "Coat well the blade of your sword with this, monsieur, and if at first it does not work, apply more. I shall continue to fill pots and vials with all that you will need. Just keep the beast away from my workshop." And with that, an eerie, ululating howl splits the night. The time has come. Kane and the herbalist peer out from the shutters to observe the great dire wolf padding from the forest. Behind him, a pack of lesser werewolves move through the undergrowth, a frenzied snarling announcing their approach. "So, monsieur," says the herbalist, "'twas seem our friend is no lone wolf, huh?" Kane quickly smears the contents of the jar along the blade of his rapier, sets his jaw, and steps outside to meet the pack.
So for this, we have the keywords and stats. We have an omen card at X. I have no idea what that is. We'll find out probably as we play. D1131. Solomon Kane is going to be doing some fight tests, and our wolves are rabbles, which is going to be determining what numbers they're going to use on those event cards. They are going to be hunters, which we've seen in some of those darkness cards. We haven't actually used them yet. And they're also going to try to fight. Our objective is to survive the onslaught.
Sounds easy enough.
Why not? I think we can do this. It'll be awesome. All right. It also says here that if we are able to get to reveal through discovery, we get that one. Otherwise, we're going to proceed to a 10B. So in order for us to actually win this, we're going to find out what we need to do using the discovery cards, which is what this means. I know it didn't make much sense when I said it. In this chapter, we're going to be using 9 darkness cards, and we're going to be adding the omen card, which you will see. We have an unprecedented amount of cards here. We have 3 discovery cards and 3 fight cards. We're going to gain all those cards and take a look. Our first card is the full moon. The piercing blue efflorescence of the full moon rises above the tree line as Solomon and the herbalist await the arrival of the great wolf. So it says right here, at the start of the chapter, shuffle 5 darkness cards together with the omen card After doing so, add 2 darkness cards to the top and then 2 darkness cards to the bottom. This forms the darkness deck for the chapter. Whenever a wolf is removed from play, we're going to place a villager in its spot, which is a coward, which most likely means it's going to be running from everything. Whenever a shadow spawns, we're going to place a wolf in the same area. Now, this game only came with 6 wolves, and they're on the board right now. So my guess is you're only going to place wolves if you actually have a model to place. That's how we're going to do it. If we're wrong, please let me know in the comments below. Next, we have our Book of Potions. The herbalist tutors Solomon Kane in the correct use of the various potions he has crafted. During their turn, virtues may use any potions they have crafted on D1121 by discarding them and then referring to the following effects. There is an astronomical amount of effects that we could do. Now, sadly, the only one we have is the Cure, which is going to be able to do 2 damage to an adjacent wolf. Now, the wolves we're fighting right now only have 1 health, so I don't know if we want to use it right away. We'll see how it goes. Our last card is Fast Work. Our herbalist toils at his crafting table, producing more potions for Solomon Kane as fast as he can. At the end of each virtue's turn, place 1 random token into the hut area. These tokens may be freely used to craft new potions. When a potion is ready, virtues can place it onto D1121 if Solomon Kane is adjacent to the hut. Otherwise, place the potion on the hut area and move it onto D1121 whenever Solomon Kane enters an area adjacent to the hut. Our last 3 cards are all fight cards. We have not seen these cards before. What these are going to resolve what happens when we do fight tests. For example, we have our Savage Kane versus the Wolves. When we do our fight test, we're going to check to see what our success value is. Based on that, we're going to be reading these cards from the fight effect deck to see what actually happens to said wolf that we're going to be fighting. Of course, the wolves are going to be using this card right here. Colin has done a great job of setting up the board. We have Justice down here ready to talk to these wolves, not talking, and we've got these 6 wolves that are ready for fighting. We also have a Shadow right up there. Our northern part of the board is going to be up there. Solomon Kane is here, and of course the herbalist is hanging out in his little room here making some herbs and potions and stuff. We do have our darkness deck here that has our omen card shuffled in somewhere. We won't know until we see the omen on top. We now have to figure out who is going to go first, and I think, Colin, you got that figured out?
Yeah, I think Prudence is going to go as number 1, and I'm going to have Justice go at the end, number 4.
All right, perfect. That brings me to me, and I'm going to go ahead and have I think I'm going to have Courage go 3rd. I know I should probably have her go earlier, but maybe we can power up her fight skill enough to be able to do some real damage. And then I'm going to go ahead and have Temperance take the 2nd token. So let's go ahead and start.
Prudence will start us off. We'll roll our 3 dice. I think with this roll, we're going to try re-rolling 1 die, see what we can get. Oh, that was almost going to work. Let's see. I think what we're going to do is give this Fear over here to Courage. And then we're going to go ahead and just use these 2 dice here so we can activate our support. And we're going to place 1 of these light onto a virtues dashboard. You know it's going to be Courage, so our aggression now has a fight value of 1. Yes, we're starting it off. So then I think I'm going to discard my insight card here, and I'm going to go ahead and put out my supervision. That gives move 1 for Solomon Kane. And we'll go ahead and draw our next one, and that is moderation. Next, we'll move to resolving our darkness card. I don't really want to look at this. Okay, so our first one, we have Sentry, Scout, and a Shadow. Would move 1 to engage, but that's not going to happen. No one was within that area, so we have to look here. We have Sentry, Scouts, the Southern Scout. Okay, we've got Shadows. The closest Shadow moves 2 to engage. Now, it's not going to be able to engage, so it's not going to do that. However, we have 3 Hunters move 2 and fight 4. And then we have 1 Hunter moves 1 and fights 4. And then we spawn another Shadow in X. Just so we don't forget to spawn, I'm going to place this awesome looking Shadow. Yeah, Barrett's painting is ridiculous. And I'll put that up here. I feel lucky I get to see it in person. All of our crazy wolves now are going to move 2. 1, 2 up here. And they're going to go ahead and attack Solomon Kane. Now, the thing is, when the attack happens, only one of them attacks. If you ever have multiple enemy types, it's always the strongest one that will attack. They're all going to attack together, let's say, just as a fight of 2. So we're going to take their value of 2. We're going to grab our event card here, and we'll go ahead and flip it, and we'll add 2 to that. So they did a fight value of 4. You can see here from that rabble, because they're considered a rabble.
So the way fights work, we're going to go ahead and take our Ravenous Wolf card, which is A. It was one of the ones they told us to pull, number F006. and we check what their value was, and based on that value, we're going to read some cards. So it says up to 5, a wolf shows its fangs and snarls before another jumps forward, ready to attack. So we're now going to go and grab from our fight effect E007 and E018. Our first 017 card says apprehension, +1 danger. So we're going to move our track up to 5. It says right down here, dread and danger lingered in the air. No one was safe. We're then going to read 018 and see what that says. Calling support. The farthest hunter moves 1 toward the attacker. Oh, barf, that's going to be terrible. It is unfortunate fact that those of ill intent are very rarely alone. That is very true.
The farthest enemies are the ones over here, so this one's going to move 1 space closer. Then we have 1 hunter moves 1 and fights 4. So that means we'll move this wolf 1 space here, and there's no fight to resolve, so we're good to go. Well, that was a great first turn, Baron. I hope yours is better.
Now that we've resolved that fight, it does say right down here, remains in play, but see this symbol? Flip the card. So now these are going to be pack hunting wolves. So when they go on ahead and do their fight again, it's going to be some different things that are going to happen to us. We're going to have to see that in action. And actually, Colin and I looked at this. After he moved that one this way, it actually is going to be easier to get to us from right there. Temperance is going to go next. Come on, we need a good roll here. Let's see how it goes. Well, that's not going to be a very good roll. She's in a lot of pain. Pain everywhere. Look at that. A bunch of wolves on us. Why wouldn't you be in pain? We're going to go ahead and re-roll one of these because just a lot of pain isn't going to help us out. Well, we got a faith. That should help a little bit. Oh, it's going to be perfect, actually. What we're going to do is we're going to activate Courage's fight test because we got to get some of these wolves out of here. I don't think moving at all is going to help. And, well, really, that's about all we can do is move. So let's go ahead and do Courage's fight test. It involves a pain and a bravery symbol from the middle board. And then in order to do that, I have to use any other die. It can be anything we want. So I guess the pain did work out. At this point, we can choose to go ahead and use Savage Kane versus the Wolves. Or right here, it does say pistol. Before taking a fight test, virtues may choose to use the pistol instead. We're going to save this pistol. Something tells me there's a silver bullet in it. Let's keep it for that, if we even get there. These wolves, there's a lot of wolves, man. All right, we'll see what we get. We got a 5, plus we get Courage is 1, which gives us 6. Sadly, our track is at a 5, so we don't get any extra from the track. So we got a 6. So it says 5 to 7. Solomon grapples a wolf and, like a great bear, ferociously tosses it back into the pack. So we're going to go ahead and look at 40, 24, and 32. 40 states domino effect. Move the attack's miniature, 1 area away from the attacker. If it enters an area with another miniature, apply the same effect again on that miniature as well. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Let's move this guy right into here, which then is going to move him back 1 away from us. That's going to be fantastic. Then we're going to take number 24 and go ahead and check it out. It says solid strike. If target is Solomon Kane, which is not, otherwise, we're going to do 1 damage. Now, each of these wolves only have 1 damage, so we're going to go ahead and remove a wolf. That was our solid strike. Kind of like solid snake, but not quite. And then last one is going to be a glimmer of hope. We get to subtract the danger by 1, so it brings it back down to 4, meaning we can only have a maximum of 2 shadows on the board, so that's perfect. Solomon Kane held up against the wolf. Woo! Now, that's not it, though. We have to do a few more things. Defeating that wolf is going to put out one of our villagers. He's super happy, especially being around a bunch of wolves. And this guy with a gun and a sword. Our fight test is resolved. We're going to go into the end of turn area here. First thing I'm going to do is, these cards are not helping at all. I don't need a clarity at all, because it looks like we're just beating up wolves. Let's see what it is. Choose a virtue. That player may immediately resolve 1 card from their hand at no cost. Let's keep that one out there. Who knows, it might actually happen. I'm going to put Assurance out there, and I'm going to go ahead and grab this one. Introspect, add or discard a darkness. Oh, that would probably be pretty good, and less darkness better. But of course, we still have to figure out what we have to do in this scenario. We also forgot from Colin's turn that we have to grab a random token, and we've put all these tokens into a little bag and are just drawing them. So right now we have 2 of these, which really aren't going to help us. But I'm going to put them onto the hut of our person. Maybe if we get something better, we can actually start using them. But for now, we have nothing we can really use. We're now going to go ahead, flip our token, and we're going to go into our darkness. Let's see what happens. Oh, let's see what it says. Okay, first of all, that doesn't happen. Sentries move, scout moves, shadows move 1 to engage. Not going to happen. But look at this. 1 hunter fights 4. Yuck! One of those wolves is going to go ahead and get us. The next thing we're going to have to do is then we're going to have to move into these. The closest sentry, scout, and the farthest shadow moves 3 to engage. Oh no, and then all hunters move 2 and fight 3. Oh, it's going to be a wolf fest. According to our card, the first thing that's going to happen is that wolf is going to go ahead and attack us. And it's going to hit us with a 4. So we're going to flip over our card and see what else he gets. He gets an extra 2, so that's 6. So let's go ahead and check out that pack hunting wolf card. It says right here, oh no, a 6 to 7 is probably bad. A howl cuts through the air and sends shivers down Solomon's spine. Let's go ahead and grab those cards. The first card is 39. It is Abject Terror. All dice and virtues reserves are changed to fear. Well, we don't have any. Oh, I do. Oh no. Courage has 2 determination. Well, she's not 2 determined anymore. Now they're both going to turn into fear. That gives her 3 fear dice. It's super afraid. Let's go to the next card. It's number 17. And it says, Darkness Creeps. If the result was up to 5, spawn 1 shadow at the nearest spawn point. 6 to 7, spawn X, Y. Then 8, spawn X, Y, Z. Okay, so we did get higher than a 5. So we're going to spawn 1 shadow at the nearest spawn point. Well, they're all pretty much the same distance away. So we're just going to go ahead and throw this shadow down at number Y, because that's a number. And then we're going to go ahead and check out our last card, which is 23, Creeping Darkness. Increase the shadow's threshold, of course. So we're going to go ahead and place one of those, a token that will represent that. This is our shadow threshold token. We're going to place that down right here. So now it is at a 3, even from where it sits. With that attack resolved, we're going to go ahead and flip this card back over to the Ravenous Wolves. We're going to be seeing it again very soon, I'm pretty sure, because we're going to continue down this card. We now have the farthest shadow moves 3 to engage, and you bet it can. We've got one that's 1, 2, 3. They're all 3 squares away. So we're just going to take the one that's on X. He's going to come flying down. He's going to engage us. We're going to grab an event card. This is going to be absolutely terrible. Let's see what happens to poor old Solomon. Look at this. Reveal 1 random sin card. Oh, if things weren't bad enough, now we've got sins upon us. We're going to go ahead and grab our sin deck here. I've never seen this. This is going to be an absolute blast, though I'm sure it's not. Let's check it out. It says gluttony. Oh, this will be fun. An inordinate desire to consume more than what is required. Virtues sense a hunger for more arising in Solomon Kane. This affects the efficiency of his actions. Virtues must spend an additional die when performing an action remains in play. In order to get rid of this, we have to place 1 light on this card. That's what this symbol down here means. So until we do that, all virtues must spend an additional extra die when performing any actions. Ah, man, they're hungry. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm hungry to put light on that. All right, that's the end of that. We got this gluttony card out here. Yuck. I think we're going to, oh no, we still have to get attacked by another wolf. Check this out. Right down here, all hunters move 2 and fight 3. So we got a bunch of wolves coming. 1, 2, 1, 2. Check it. Oh my gosh, all these hunters do that. Every wolf is in our square. Oh boy. And also, at the end of the Virtue's turn, I forgot to tell you, he's a coward. He's going to move 1 space towards the closest board edge. And if he's at the board edge, he runs away, never to be seen again, because that's just how it works. We're going to add 3 to whatever this is. It is a 4. Oh no, they're going to do this for 7. That's going to be devastating. Let's see what it says. Oh, lucky for us, it's not 8. I bet that's really bad. It says, like an enclosing whirlpool, the pack swarms around their target, snapping and salivating from their jaws. All right, we're going to go ahead and check out each 38, 22, and 36. Our first card is number 38, and it is Encircle. All hunters move 1 towards the target. Well, good news, they're all there, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, we're going to go to number 22. We're all encircled. Strength in numbers. -1 strength, clarity, or compassion. Repeat this action once if there's another enemy in the same type adjacent to the target. A lot of bad things. All right, so we're going to lose a lot of points here because there's a lot of same type adjacent to the target. I'm sure these are all adjacent to each other, but yuck. Colin and I decided that our best bet is to take 1 to our clarity, bringing it down to 5. Then this is only going to repeat once. I was afraid it was going to be once for each one of these, but we got real lucky. We're going to remove our clarity again down 1 to 4. That means our strength is at 5, our clarity is at 4, and our compassion is at 3. So we're getting close to death. And we've got, of course, 1 more happy card. This is 36. It is Confidence, +2 to the next fight test during a darkness turn. Then discard this card. Barf. That's going to be terrible. This remains in play. I'm going to put it right down there. Come on, courage. Let's get some actions going. All right, she got a fantastic roll. She got her bravery and she got her pain, so she's gonna be able to do a fight test. Now, the sad thing is, I've got all these extra dice that I can't do anything really with. I could, oh, check this out. This would be awesome. I have to use an extra die in order to do an action. Oh no, this is actually going to be terrible. I was hoping to put courage on the board as well, but I can't because I have to put an extra die in there too in order to do the action. Oh, this is so tragic. We're going to go ahead and use our mercy dice. Colin reminded me of him. He's so aware of these mercy dice. He loves them. I'm going to use that extra mercy die to power up my courage. Why not? She's a courageous individual. And we're going to put her right on the board and do a fight test. We're going to go ahead and put courage on the board. Now, the way this works is, and there is actually a amount of minis you can actually fit in a square, but immortals never count towards the amount of minis you can fit in the square. So I'm actually just going to put her in this building, but we're going to say that she's actually on the board in this square, ready to fight for Solomon Kane. That's going to be the plan. From here on, I'm going to go ahead and do a fight test. So we're going to take our Kane versus the wolves and see what happens. Before we do, I did remember I actually fought already once. We were supposed to flip the card. I didn't do that. So we're going to actually be the tactful Kane versus the wolves. So let's go ahead and see how we do. Now with +2 on the board from our courage, we also get another 1 from her light. So we're at +3 right now. Let's flip this card and get a big number. 7. Oh my gosh, that's 10. That's going to be amazing. Let's see what we do these wolves. It says Solomon Kane moves with the speed of a famished wolf and attacks with wicked dexterity. I'm going to grab 24, 30, and 29. Our first card is number 24. We are going to do a solid strike, which means we're going to do 1 damage. So I'm going to go ahead, destroy a wolf, and put a villager out on the board. We're going to make it this girl in a green dress. She's going to run away in just a second. Next, we're going to go ahead and check out number 30. It says move 2. I don't want to move. I would like to stay right there because then I'm on in the space where courage is. That's fantastic. We're going to stay right where we are. Move. Who moves from wolves? We can take these wolves on. Place 1 damage onto an enemy within the attacker's surroundings. Oh, swift attack. That's awesome. So we've done another damage. So we're going to remove another wolf as well and place down another villager. How about a guy with blue pants? He's going to go right there. My board is fine, but I did forget to draw a card at the end of my last turn, so I got fortune. How do I want to place this out? No, I think we're okay. We're going to leave what we have out there. Not bad. If we need to move, we'll move, but we don't really like to move. I also am going to go ahead and switch this over here because we have done our action, and it's going to now move into the darkness turn because now I'm going to go ahead and flip my token and see what happens. Oh, come on, darkness card. Don't be... Oh, no, look at that. The omen's coming next, Colin. What are we going to do?
Give up?
Give up. Give up to the omen. We have this one now. It says, all sentries move 2. Scout moves 1, hunters fight 1. Well, I'm not too worried about that, so that's no problem. So we'll start with the fight action with these. Now it's a 1, but of course, don't forget, I get this card out here as well. It says +2 to the next fight test during the darkness turn. So we're going to go ahead and see what happens. We got a total of 2, 3, 4, 5. The wolves are going to attack. We are attacking us. We have up to 5. It says the wolves look to encircle their target and move as 1 dark mass of teeth. So before they do that, these 2, of course, are going to get out of here. They're going to get out of wolf and see how that goes. Let's go ahead and grab our cards, 38 and 39. We've seen these cards before, but let's go ahead and check them out again. Encircle, all hunters move 1, not going to happen. And 2 is the terror effect. So all reserve dice are going to turn into fear dice, and we don't actually have any in our reserve. At this point, we are going to go down to this area here, and it looks like we have the closest shadow moves 2 to engage, and the farthest shadow moves 3 to threaten. And all hunters move 2 and fight 3, but they've already done their actions. We're going to move this one to threaten, 1, 2. Then we also have to spawn another one at Y. So we're going to go ahead and place a shadow right here. And we also are going to place a wolf because we have some wolf miniatures. The last time we spawned a shadow, we didn't have any extra wolf miniatures. All of them were out on the board, and I'm just saying it's a finite resource because, well, 6 wolves seems to be enough for us. So we're going to go ahead and finish there and move into our next turn. But first we have to grab our token from our bag, and we got this, which didn't really help us. There aren't any potions that use that, so I'm going to keep them with him in the house.
Last to go is Justice. Let's go ahead and roll up our 3 dice. Ooh, that looks nice. Now what I'd love to do is place some light to get rid of that gluttony, but I'm realizing I only have 3 dice. I'm not going to be able to do that because it costs me 1 additional 1. Although we do have a mercy die. Let's see, can I actually do it here? I've got this symbol and I've got this symbol. Can I flip this? No. Let's take a chance. Let's re-roll it. Let's see what we get. No, that's definitely not going to work. Well, based on what I rolled, the only thing I'm going to be able to do is sympathy. I'll have to spend this one. That will give us another mercy die. Someone else can use that, which will be nice. And that's going to end my turn, so I'm going to go ahead and discard this. I'm going to place out, yeah, definitely not a talk 5. We'll put out equilibrium, and we'll go ahead and shuffle, our truffle shuffle as Barrett calls it, and draw one new card. Let's go ahead and draw this one. And we have brilliance. Oh, great, place 2 light. That would have been wonderful to have.
We're going to go ahead and draw our darkness card, which is the omen card. So according to our book here, we're going to go ahead and check out D1131, which is right here. And it says, cutting howl. A huge dark figure blocks out the moonlight as a howl like no other cuts through the air, sending shivers down Solomon's spine. We're going to add one nightmare card. Oh, barf. Place the alpha wolf on the northernmost area of the map and reveal 1125. Let's go ahead and get, this is going to be our nightmare card, and we're going to go ahead and add it to the deck. And you always add them to the bottom of the deck. So good news, hopefully, if we get to that card, something terrible has happened and we're probably going to lose anyway. Card 1125 says the Alpha Wolf, a massive, terrifying leader of the whole pack of werewolves, closes in. His pack members lower their heads in respect to the leader, while they keep on snarling and barking towards Solomon Kane. So we're going to remove card 1123, which means that we are not going to have to worry about the full moon anymore. And we're also getting rid of this, the wolves removed from play. Villagers appear whenever shadows spawn, place a wolf. So we're not going to be getting any more wolves. That's half the battle. And we're going to go ahead and reveal card F008. That's a fight card, and it's going to probably be for our Nemesis Wolf. So when he attacks, you'll see that card. It's going to look just like all the rest of these, except it's for our Nemesis boss. And we're going to go ahead then and put him pretty much all the way up at the northern part of the map. It says here, when the Alpha Wolf enters the board, or whenever a wound is placed onto it, all virtues must remove all dice in their reserve except for bravery symbols. Well, lucky for us, we don't have anything in there. Objective change. Defeat the Alpha Wolf. All right, we know our objective, Colin. All we have to do is defeat the wolf. The northernmost part of the board is up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it where he is. So we have our Alpha Wolf. Look at this thing. Oh, man, this guy's amazing. He's already destroyed some poor four-hoofed animal here, and we're going to... he's totally ripped him apart, but we're going to go ahead and put him right here. He's ready to roar.
Starting that next round, I'm going to go ahead and have Justice go first, and then I'm going to have Prudence go last at 4.
I'm going to have Courage go ahead and hit for, hopefully hit a ton with that too. And of course, bringing up our third person is going to be Temperance.
Then let's go ahead and roll our 3 dice and let's see what we get. So what we want to do is get rid of that gluttony as soon as possible. This is killing us, blasted gluttony. And so we need light to do that. So we're going to flip this over to pain. Okay, we're going to use this. We're going to use this die here. We're then going to use one of our mercy dice here. And we're going to use this one as our extra die because it takes an extra die to do an action. And we're going to put 1 light on Gluttony and get rid of it. Yes. But unfortunately, that means that's all Justice gets to do this turn. Looking at what's in her hand, I think I'm just going to leave what's out. I'm not going to do anything there. So then we'll go ahead and draw a Darkness card. And let's see what we get. We have Scout, Scout, Shadow. 1 shadow moves to engage. We are going to have that. And then we have our hunters are going to fight for 4. Ouch.
Yuck.
Normally what would happen is this shadow would move into Solomon Kane's space, and then we would have to draw an event card. What we're going to do instead is we're going to take a 1 danger hit. We're going to move our danger up to 5, but that means this shadow cannot move into that space. It's going to stay there. Unfortunately, though, we're still going to have to deal with the hunter's fight of 4. So we're going to have a value of 4. We're going to flip one of these. That's a 3. That's a value of 7. That value of 7 means a howl cuts through the air and sends shivers down Solomon's spine. We've got cards 39, 17, and 23. Our first card that we have here is we have all dice and all virtues reserves. We don't have any. Okay, don't have to worry about that one. Our next one we have, if the result was up to 5, I think it was, wasn't it? We had a total of 7. So since it's 7, we have to spawn 2 more shadows, an X and Y. Oh, that is brutal. And then our third and final one we have is increase the shadow threshold. Well, why not? So now we're going to be able to have more shadows out on the board. We'll place one shadow here, and our second shadow right here with our nemesis boss.
We're going to go ahead and finish off the card. We're going to move our hunters up one, and we're going to be able to move one of these shadows. One's supposed to engage, but it can't, so the farthest shadow is going to move 2 to threaten. Well, those shadows up there are 3 squares away, and the ones down here also 3 squares away. I'm going to be going in that direction, so I think it's best to just move the ones from down here. We're going to move one up 2 spaces to be able to threaten Solomon Kane.
Now normally we'd also spawn another shadow, but we are at our max limit of shadows. And of course, we also get another random ingredient. We'll put that in here. Oh, sorry for moving you, Justice.
It all comes down to courage. Come on, I need your courage, courage. All right, let's see what we got. I think we might have did it here. All right, we got a faith, a thing. Oh, I think we did it. Okay, so we're gonna use this mercy cube. Check this out, it's gonna be awesome. Okay, we're gonna use this die here, this die here. We're gonna flip this guy over to a fear, and boom, look at that. I'm able to move one, and I'm gonna be able to take a fight test. Oh yeah, justice for the win. Oh no, this is courage, courage for the win. The first thing we're gonna do with courage is we're gonna go ahead and move Solomon Kane. Solomon Kane now can do a fight test. He's gonna do that. Now, before we do our fight test, remember I've been saving this? Who knows, maybe there's a silver bullet in this thing and take this thing out. Before taking a fight test, virtues may choose to use the pistol instead. I'm totally using this pistol. Now, it's only a one-time use. It's a discard this card after it is used. So let's see how we do. I'm gonna draw my first card and see what we get. Now, I have +3 because I'm still in the aura because she's actually technically in this space. Let's see what we get. We've got 3 + 3. Oh, that's 6. I don't think that's very good. We want to get a real high number. So I'm going to go ahead and use a luck cube and see what we get out of our second event card. Come on, event card, something good. Oh, a 4. Oh, 4 + 3 is 7. 7 still. Oh, that's the middle of the road. All right, but that's the average. But we're going to give it a rest shot. Come on, Justice. We need to really take this guy out. Oh, it's courage. I got him mixed up. Here we go. Come on, courage, courage, courage. Oh, it's a 7. Colin, we got a 7. How about that? Let's go ahead and see what it does. 7 plus, oh, let's see here. What is that? 7 + 3 is 10. All right, it says right here, oh, I think it's going to say you blast this guy into oblivion. You unmatched elegance, Kane turns and blasts his assailant in the chest while reaching beneath his cloak and readying another pistol. Oh, we might be able to shoot him again. There's an absolute boatload amount of cards here. I'm going to go grab all of these and see what happens to this poor wolf guy. Let's go ahead and start with number 25. We've got a deep gash. Now, if it's target Solomon Kane, it's not. Otherwise, oh, we do 3 damage. Oh, check this out. The wound was deep and most likely fatal. You bet it's fatal, because check this out. We have this. Remember, we were able to do this, which gives us +2 damage to an adjacent wolf. We're totally going to do that. That does 5 damage in one hit just because it's going to be cool. Let's see what the other cards did. But we took him down in one shot. Startle. Move all enemies in the attacker surrounding one area away. Doesn't matter. We have a dead wolf. Let's see what the next card is, just because it's fun. Move 2 away from the target. Ooh, we can fall back. That's kind of cool. And then the last one is -1 danger. A glimmer of hope. We don't need any hope. We just destroyed the alpha wolf. What do you think, Colin?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're the best Solomon Kane players ever. That is it. We were able to make it through one of the 8 campaigns that are found inside this box. This is an amazing game that has all these different campaigns, and I'm sure each of them play out completely differently. I'm actually a big fan of having all these different virtues. I think they're really cool. We, of course, were able to help the wolf out, or I guess kill it at the same time, but I guess killing and saving is about the same. The herbalist is pretty cool. I liked all the things we had to do. We had to first save him from the mob, then we had to find those herbs to try to help him out, and then at the end we had to finally just take him down. And that's actually one of the cool things about the game. It's not all just combat, combat, combat. There's a lot of other things going on in this game. I would like to thank Colin from the One Stop Co-op Shop for joining me in the final conclusion of this great adventure. It's been a pleasure to have him along, and I'm looking forward to doing more with him in the future. If you did enjoy the playthrough, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when more content comes out. And also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. I would love to hear from everyone. I know I did some pronunciations wrong and things of that nature, but at least the whole game was a lot of fun to play. Again, thank you so much for watching. And if you're excited to see what comes next, then I need you to meet me at the table. Perfect. That brings me to me.
Glad you put yourself me to me. Peer out from the shutters to observe. Observe?
Observe. All right, we're going to go ahead and read. Colin, take it away.
Solomon Kane and... How the heck do you say that name?
Hold on.